I heard that you want to learn Gumi. Maybe you just like the character design and want to play her decently. Or perhaps you just enjoy being Gumi and like using her kits. Well, this will be the only tutorial video you ever need. We will go through how to play Gumi as a beginner, as well as how to actually main her with all the advanced tips and some of my personal tips based on my own experience using her. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video to level up your Gumi gameplay. So for this first part, we will only go through some of the basic stuff about Gumi that most of you might have already known. So if you are confident that you have know the basic of the character, you can skip to the advanced part of this video. Let's talk about the character concept. So what is Gumi as a character? So originally Gumi was designed to be a mid-range tactical DPS, but that was long ago. That concept might not be connected to Gumi nowadays. So before we figure out what is Gumi to new player, let's take a look at her moveset first. Gumi's first attack, normal attacks or auto, is her shooting 2 fireballs. Each of them deal roughly 575 damage and also inflict 1 stack on the target. The maximum stack you can inflict on a single target is 3. However, keep in mind that if you use this move in the air, Gumi will only shoot 1 fireball instead of 2, and that fireball only deal 288 damage. Gumi's secondary attack, or her skill, is her using her fan to launch a powerful gust of wind that deal 575 damage and inflicted 1 stack on the enemy if used on the ground. While using the air, it would deal 518 damage, also inflict 1 stack to the enemy. Gumi's third attacks, or special attacks, also referring to her ultimate, is technically her leading herself on fire and charge at the opponent, dealing 345 damage. Additionally, 575 damage per stack that target has on them. This move deals the same amount of damage whether you use it on the ground or in the air. So how does beginner play Gumi? I'll show you. Yep, that's it. Not even kidding. But that's okay. That's beginner. Basically, to beginners, Gumi is like a stationary support DPS. So what they do is they will move Gumi around to a position they think is good for attacking and then just spam auto. So this style is called turreting because you literally turn Gumi into a turret that's stationed in one place, shooting. Believe it or not, this is one out of 3 states that you need to go through in order to master Gumi. At this stage, we call it the ground style, which means you stick mostly to the ground and you just do what the beginner do. The good thing about this style is that it's very easy to adapt. Whenever a new player pick up Gumi, they can and will do this. The bad thing about this style is that it's very easy to be countered. You might be able to get a couple wins against new players, other new players, and feel like you are doing good. But as soon as you step into that mid-range of a more experienced player, you will realize that using the ground style will not cover you when the enemy coming from the air. That means they will jump at you, or they can even just super jump you from far away. Although this style limits a lot of Gumi potential, but like I said, you need to go through this state in order to master Gumi. So my advice for new player is that it's okay to play like this at first. What you can do when you play like this is trying to master your ground attacks. Know the maximum range of your autos, the maximum range of your skill, and the maximum range of your ult, so that you will never miss those things if you have an opportunity to attack. So what is the second state of learning or playing Gumi? Well, it looks like this. That's it. As you can see, it's a lot different from the first stage that beginner plays Gumis, and we call this one the air style. So technically, beginner, after sometimes experience Gumi themselves, they realize they can jump. I know, right? That's crazy. But yeah, seriously. So a lot of people realize that they can actually jump with Gumi instead of just being a turret like this. So they can jump to dodge attacks as well as launch fast counter attacks. Even though you have a lot more mobility in this state, there's still a common mistake that I see a lot of new players have when playing Gumi, including myself back then, which is once they discover jumping, they rely on it too much, and I mean too much. Like every single second in a match, they would keep jumping, and this not only make them look funny, but also give the opponent a lot of opportunity to punish you. Know that you can jump, but do not rely on it all the time. The reason why this second state is still a lot more practical than the first state, which is the turret one, is that you have much more control over your aerial attack than your ground one. Now what do I mean by this is that when you're on the ground, there's just so much control you can have over your attacks. You get stuck in your animation for very long after you launch it. You cannot actually turn to any direction you want right away, and even your startup time for using ground skill is very long. Meanwhile, if you're doing aerial, your attacks goes very fast. You do not get stuck in the two fireballs animation. You even fall faster, which means your recovery time from a jump faster after you attack. And your startup time for your arrow skill is a lot faster too. So what you can do with this is that you can launch more flexible attacks in different situations. Therefore, my advice for people who are currently at this state of playing Gumi is that you should not rely on your jump all the time. Use it when you need it, but don't use it when you don't need it. Also, you should try and practice your arrow control just by launching your elbow or your air skill in different angles. Once you got the hang of it and can use your arrow attacks in every angle possible, it would definitely make you a better Gumi player. We are now at the advanced part of the tutorial. Let's start off with the character concept again. So what does pro player thinks about Gumi? A Gumi player who knows her full potential. Gumi is a tactical zoner burst damage dealer. This of course will lead us to the third state of Gumi, which is called the hybrid style. So as the name suggested, you can already guess what the hybrid style is going to be like. So after you have mastered the ground gameplay and the air gameplay of Gumi, the only thing you need to do now is combine those two styles and use your skill conditionally to unlock her full potential. Let's talk about Gumi weakness first, and later on I will explain to you guys why we need to go through her weakness first. So the most visible weakness about Gumi is that her moving speed is low and her attack speed is low. Her moving speed in this game compared to the whole character roster is a bit under average. As well as her attack speed, if you compare it to any other marksman characters, you realize that it's much lower. Even her ground skill has a very long startup time. To give you an example, if Gumi ground skill is used the same moment Alice swing her hammer, Gumi will still get hit first. That is how slow her skill and attack is. Her other weakness, one would be her low HP. And now with the new rune system, you can die within one combo from an assassin characters. This means that one mistake and you are done for. Her third and final weakness that I think a lot of people look over is that her arrow gameplay is not strong. Now don't get me wrong, Gumi arrow is really good, and if you use right, you can get a lot of kills from arrows. The issue here is all of her arrow move, air, auto, air skill, they all amped down. This means that her arrow is only good when the opponent is on the ground or lower than you. Now some of you might say that, but Arthur, Gumi is fast. Well, this is where her strength comes in. If you pick up Gumi, you will realize that she have a hidden mechanic, which is whenever she hit with her auto, regardless of ground or air auto, she will get a 1 second speed boost. And no, this does not apply to her skill or her ultimate. It only boosts her movement speed and not her attack speed. Gumi other strength is her ability to deal massive burst damage with her ult. Why this doesn't seem to be as strong as the damage you can dish out with assassin characters or some of the other marksmen like Hook and Robin, is still her strongest weapons. You should realize by now that the damage she deals will only be very high if the opponent have 3 stack maximum on them. This is why we have to go through Gumi weakness first, because both of her strength that I just mentioned are conditional. Gumi doesn't have any strength if you don't meet the condition to activate them. For the speed, you need to have high accuracy to keep hitting your target with your auto attacks. And for damage, you also need to hit your auto attacks to get stack on the target, maximum 3 stack to deal that massive damage. Now your job as an experienced Gumi player is not only to connect her ground gameplay and her air gameplay effectively, but also use the conditional strength that she has effectively. Know when to charge in when the target have 3 stack. This will do 2 things. One is deal massive damage. 2 is recharge your ult to maximum, so you don't have to wait for your ult after that. By the way, these stacks stayed on the target for roughly 6 seconds, so you do have some time to work on getting 3 stack on the target. Also know how to position yourself after you hit the opponent with your auto with that 1 second speed boost, and that would be all the tips you need to level up your Gumi gameplay at stage 3. But Arthur, you just say that's all the tips we need. Why is the video still going? Well, I did say that that's all the tips you need to be a decent Gumi player. However, this part is for me to share all of my personal tips. These are takeaway that I got from my own experience. So if you want to go through this part, it's on you. Since I will be giving my personal tips, I should tell you more about myself so you can decide it if you want to learn my Gumi playstyle or you want to learn it from someone else to suit your playstyle. So I'm currently the rank 1 Gumi player globally, and I'm play a lot of 1v1 and 2v2 modes. As you can see, I play duo a lot. I also play do touchdown and do deathmatch. The tips I will be giving you from this part of the video on will probably benefit your Gumi gameplay in 1v1 and 2v2, but not as much as in 3v3 or team mode or rank. As you can see, I don't even play rank and I play little 3v3 modes. Okay, first let's talk about her auto again. So we already know that her auto is not very fast. It has a huge animation that you will be stuck in when you use it on the ground. But that's not the only reason why it's bad. The other reason why her auto is not good compared to other marksman attacks is that, as you can see, there's a small recoil. It's not entirely visible, but if you pay attention, Gumi will go back the more she spam her auto attacks. What does this mean? So technically your range is not the best, but if you keep spamming your auto, it will get worse. You will get further away from the target you want to hit. So that's another reason why the state 1 being a turret is not very effective. This also applies to her air auto. There's a small recoil that will push her back, but it's not as bad because when you use your arrow, you want to launch an attack and then safely land after that. So the pushback for the air one, the recoil, is actually good. It makes you keep a safe distance from your enemy. Now a lot of you might question that, Arthur, does that mean Gumi auto is the worst out of every ranged character? Well, not entirely, because her auto does have a gimmick that the other don't have, which is pierce through the target. So if there's 2 or even 3 targets that pretty near to each other, when you do your autos, it will hit all of them. It will go through the first, the second target, and the third target. That's the unique thing about her auto in return for all of the drawbacks that it has. Her auto attack will not go through obstacle, small blocks, stuff like that. One last gimmick about her auto is, I know it doesn't make huge difference if you notice or not, but in certain situation you will ask yourself, why did it happen? So if you look closely, her 2 auto attacks doesn't line up perfectly. It doesn't go perfectly straight. So if you could look in this, this angle, you will see that her first one goes slightly to the left and her second one goes slightly to the right. What does this do is that if you don't aim for the center, right in the middle of your target, you might miss them by an inch because your auto doesn't always line up straightly. Not to mention that her auto will not curve. You don't have a lot of control over your auto like you do when you use character like Hook, which you can curve her attack slightly to the direction that you want. Alright, now let's talk about how you can use your auto even more effectively. Other than using it as a ground and air auto to technically just get more stack on the target, I will give you 3 tips that you can use your auto in different way. So the first one being that you can use your auto pretty much to stall in the air like this. So if you normal jump, you fall down, and if you normal jump, you auto, you stall for a little. And this works again characters that have auto attack that will slide them forward and they are spamming it on the ground. For example, Red, if Red charge her auto combo at you on the ground, and if you normal jump, you fall down, you land right into the combo. If you jump above her and then you stall with your auto, you land behind her and then you can quickly turn around and punish her. This goes the same for other character like Wolfgang also does that, or let's say Marina also go beneath you, Dawn also go beneath you. If you time those attack right and stall above them, you will have a chance to punish them. The second use of her auto is also one of my favorite. If you have seen my clips on playing Gumi in Do, you will see that I use this all the time. What I'm going to teach you now is something that I call a super low auto. As you can see, it's not a ground auto, it's an aerial attack, but it's go very low to the ground. So what does this do in your actual gameplay? So when you do a super low auto, it means that you wait it out a bit. So normally your auto goes there, but now you wait out a bit and now your auto roll go right here. So if the opponent charge in and they are under your auto range, so they are around here, you might want to wait a bit and then use a super low auto instead of a normal auto, which will then leave you open for the opponent to punish you. Also, here's another tips for this. When you trying to wait out for a super low auto, there's a high chance that the opponent might have already tried and attack you mid-air, because they feel like you're gonna hit them if they wait. So the way you want to do is that you don't turn to them, you don't show them that you're about to use a super low auto on them. In most situations, I don't look at them until I go very low to the ground, and I don't have to look at them because I can always do a 180 turn super low auto like this. So super low and then turn, so that way they don't feel the threat of attacking you before you land to the ground, so they would wait until you actually land and then punish you for a guaranteed hit. That way you can take advantage of that mindset and then surprise them with a super low attack before they can react to it. The third tips I have for using Gumi auto better is just use auto faster, especially talking about your air auto. Now, some of you might say that this is not a helpful tips. Well, let me show you this. Watch, right? Normal auto, fast auto. Normal auto, fast auto. So you can see there's a huge difference there. And a lot of people look past this because they think it's not that important. The thing is, there's so many situations where you find yourself vulnerable in the air. For example, you are floating in the air like this, and a Peter is trying to hit you with his jump air slam down skill, but he's right in front of you. So what you can do is quickly throw an air auto, and that hit him. He might still hit you with his air skill, but it's way better than getting hit with his full auto combo after you get hit by his air skill, right? Now another situation, if you are here, you are floating, slowly going down, vulnerable, and there's a Kurana right here, which is perfect for his ground skill range. He can go straight up at you like this. Now what you can do, if you are slow, you will get hit with his attack right away, but if you're fast, you do this and you get hit by the first hit of his ground skill, but he also get flinched by your auto attacks. So that's way better than getting hit with a full Kurenai combo. So just so you know, don't wait after you jump to auto, but jump and auto right away. That's how you do it. The thing is, I'm not saying that you should spam this every time. It depends on where the opponent is. Sometimes you do have to wait out for the perfect angle to hit the opponent. You cannot just spam, jump and auto right away every time. But if you do this, it's much faster in situation that they are trying to chase you down right behind you and you just need a fast counter. This is how you do it. Just jump and auto right away. Don't wait. Now the second tips is more about how you think of your aerial auto, your air auto. You don't treat your air auto as a tool to get stacked. It's just a tool to not deal damage, to not get stacked, but instead to flinch the opponent and create opportunities for you to follow up your attacks. Let's move on to her skill, Gumi skill. First thing you have to notice, it's actually a good thing because you can extend your range a bit longer than your auto attack, but it also means that if you miss your skill, you are closer to the enemy and they can hit you back. Let's talk about her air skill. So this attack has some similar gimmicks to her air autos, but I would tell you to not apply some of the same tips that I give you for the air auto on the air skill. I will show you why, right? First thing is that when you want to use super low auto, like I showed you before, like this, to hit a very close enemies under you, you can. But what happens if the enemy is right under you, like right here, like they are inside you? The thing is, your super low auto will not work in this situation. As you can see, even if you go very low to the ground, however, your skill will act differently. Now your air skill can also do a super low air skill version, and it's actually will hit the enemy if they are right under and inside your characters. Now the reason for this is because the hitbox of this attack, right? Now imagine this, right? The hitbox for this move is like a 3D triangle that projects from Gumi fan herself. That's why if the enemy is right inside you like this, and you use the skill, it will still hit them, and it will still push them to the direction that you are using your skill in. Even if they are slightly under or above you, it will still hit them. Now the same things go for a skill, is that when you're falling right under the enemy like this, they usually will wait until you are on the ground to make sure that there's that end lag that they can attack. But if you show any threat to them, like example you try to look toward the direction, for example, they will initially attack you faster than they should have. So you would want to wait until the last second to turn and then push them out. It's just a mind tip, but it works. That would also be the only situation that I would recommend you to use your air skill super low, because when you use this, you make them flinch and then you have an opening. If you don't have your ult, you still have your skill to follow up. So that's definitely more effective than the air skill, because if you use your air skill in situation like this, then you cannot follow up with your auto. Even as you can see, they have like 100% HP and they still got pushed away out of my attack range. So just a small tip to make sure you can launch follow-up attacks after you recover from your jump. Let's say Master Cat is using his ult right here and it reached over here and you are falling to that range. If you use your air auto to stall, you will still get hit because you're still in the range, and the Master Cat ult will last longer. If you use your air skill to stall, not only will you last longer in the air, but it's also push you back more than your air auto does. So that's one thing. The other situation you might think of is maybe Goldie using her skill with a huge zone like this and you are falling right into it. What did you do? Of course, you use your air skill to push yourself out. It's more of like pushing yourself out of the bad landing place than stalling. The last thing I could think of is maybe Alice's mine. Alice throw her mine right under your feet, but you are at the very edge of it, and then you use your air skill to slightly bounce out of it. That's it. The other differences of her air skill compared to her air auto is actually a good one, which is that her air skill, here it is, right? It goes through walls and obstacles. It's technically normal like every other attack in this game, except from her auto. For some reason they patched the go through obstacle shit, but her skill will always go through any blocks in maps, like straight through. And I especially like this in the 1v1 L map, the smallest one, right? There's a lot of small blocks, and people usually think that if they stand behind that blocks, they would be safe from most range attack, but they are wrong. Of course, yes, your auto cannot go through them, but your skill, if you stand on the other side of the wall, the blocks, and then you use your skill, it will pretty much hit them. if they are in range. A lot of people ask me that, Arthur, how you do the catch thingy with Gumi crowd skill? Now what they mean by that is when you hit the opponent off stage and they are trying to get back, and you will wait for the right moment to catch them with your ground skill like this. I do have a tips that might help beginner and every average Gumi player to land this catch better. Again, we have to go back to the hitbox of this move. As I said before, it's a 3D triangle, much like the effect, the shape of the effect that you see. So what you want to do when you try to catch the opponent when they are getting back to the state is that you don't wait for them to land right in front of you like this. Like this is straight in front of you. You don't want that because that gives you a higher chance to miss the fan if they fall faster or they fall like slower. The thing is, you should go for catching them at the peak of your skill, which means the top of your hitbox. So it will be, let's see, so it's right here, but you don't wait for them to land right here. You will time it for when they go around here, so right at the top of your skill. Now the reason for this is, even if you hit them right here, it still do the same amount of damage. If you only hit the peak, it also do the same amount of damage. But at the same time, if you miss that timing, they will still get hit by the exact straight hitbox. So you have a higher chance to catch them if you launch your crown skill at the peak. Your skill will not go away. So even if the effect is gone, you will see that sometimes the hitbox will still get them. This also works on the ground between. Sometimes you do this, right? And the effect is gone. But if the enemy is charging toward the direction of your skill, they will still get hit like right after that. Even though the effect is gone and Gumi already recover from the air lag, they will still get hit. Remember that. Your skill hitbox lasts a bit longer than the actual effect. Let's talk about her ultimate. You already know that her ultimate is her most damage move. What other tips do I have that can help you use this move even more effectively? Well, first thing first, you need to know the gimmick that this move has. Is that if you want to restart your ult fully when you hit the target like this, it's actually only restart on the last hit. So what does it means? It means that if you have 3 stack on an opponent, you charge at them like this, but they use some kind of super armor move that go through your ult, and your last hit will go through them and will not land on them. You will not get your ult back. It only recharge on the last hit. So that's the thing. And a lot of characters can do that. For example, if you go through Jacko while he's throwing his ult, you will not be able to push him. You will not be able to recharge your ult even with 3 stack. Or let's say you charge it in Dawn while he is rushing with his super armor, you go right through him. Same thing with Timon, same thing with Goldie when she's in ult state, super armor. So a lot of characters will have the power to go through your ult, and it will not recharge even if you have done everything correctly. You have 3 stack, but if your last hit of the ult doesn't hit the target, your ult will not recharge. At the same time, this is also a good thing, and I will tell you why. Let me teach you how to use your air ult effectively. So we already go through state 1 ground, state 2 air, but I didn't talk about your aerial ult. And yes, this is a very common thing that a lot of new Gumi player doesn't apply, which is the ult can also be used in the air like this. And the reason why most of the time when the opponent is in the air, you want to use air ult is to finish them quickly. Imagine an enemy is trying to recover, landing, and then after they land, they can do all kind of shit. They can teleport, they can throw this, throw that. You don't want that to happen because then you have less chance to finish them. What you want to do is that don't wait for them to land. You can jump and then arrow at them. It still do the same amount of damage as long as you hit them, right? And now we go back to the last hit gimmick. So now you know that your ult will still reset on the last hit. So if you are, this is the only situation I recommend this, okay? If you are chasing a target that has very little HP, maybe a bit little than that, like around that, and you know that your ult can kill the target without full damage, and what you will need to do is that you try to catch them with your air ult, but you do not wait for them to get down to the right range, right? So you will ult right under their feet. So they're falling here, you will ult right under them, and the moment they drop on top of your ult, they will die because of their little health level. The reason why I recommend doing this in situation like that is because first of all, when they are still higher up, they don't see what you are cooking. So by doing this, you will surprise them, and that is when they know they fuck up because they haven't do anything. A lot of character has aerial move like Jarvard, some like Red, they can just use them and like get out of the way, super armor, like dodge your ult completely. But if you use this underneath them before they even land, you will be able to catch them because the ult will stay there for a while like this. There will still be that spin and it goes up a bit at the end. That is when they got caught in it, and only a portion of the damage is dealt because you didn't hit them right from the start of the fire tornado. But you will still get the damage you need to kill them, and if you have 3 attacks on them, you will still get your ult back after. In another case, you are on the air and the opponent is on the ground. It's opposite from what we do just now with the air ult, right? That's when you're on the ground and the opponent is in the air. Now when you're in the air like this and the opponent is on the ground and it's not nearby you but still in range of your ult, and let's say they have 2 or 3 attacks and you want to ult them. So here's the tips: do not wait until you land to start ulting. That is bad because that gives them enough time to either run away or set up their own attack to counter your ult. What you want to do is you don't ult when you land, but ult right before you land. You don't touch the ground to do it. You do it exactly like the super low arrow skill and super low auto that I talked about earlier. So don't wait until you land. Wait until you close to the ground to use it, and it still deal the full amount of damage to the enemy. Yes, you can also do this even if the enemy has no let's say no stack on them, but you feel threatening. You feel like even if you try to use super low auto or super low air, you still don't have a very good chance of surviving. That's when you can just use the super low ult to get yourself out of the tough situation. We are now down to the final 2 tips that I have for Gumi ult, and these 2 tips are the most powerful one that will help you level up your Gumi gameplay. So the first one is that how many different functions do you think Gumi ult is capable of? So far in this video, all we have been talking about is using ult as weapons. Yes, it is her strongest weapon to deal damage to the enemy, and that's not wrong. But also that is not the only function her ult can be used at. So the second function of the ult is actually to be used as an escape pod. Now what do I mean by this? Let's say you're in a situation where an Alice is jumping at you from this side. Alice jumping at you with her ult, gonna slam her hammer down and stun you in this whole area, right? This big area. and then she gonna follow up with another stun from her crown skill and a full combo of her auto attack, maybe even trigger lightning, and that might kill you. So what you want to do in this situation is that you realize that you cannot walk out of it, you cannot jump out of it fast enough. But what you can do is you can ult out of it like this, and you will be completely safe from that attack and all of the following coming attacks. I know, yes, this is situational, and not every situation you should do this. In most situations, you actually should take the blow and then counter them back. But situation like Alice ult, Ravi ult, Peter ult, or let's say Goldie ult, if you manage to react fast enough, yeah, Goldie ult is a very fast one, but you definitely can react to it. So if you know which situation will be threatening to your Gumi, using your ult to escape is not a bad idea. It's actually even more benefit for you. It's not even a fair trade, because then they lose their whole attack follow-up, their whole combo chance of dealing massive damage to you after that. And you can literally, after you escape out with your ult, right, you have a good position to counter these moves because they have a huge end lag after. You can follow up with your attack and then build up your ult again really fast. It's not even that long, so it's actually benefit for you if you use your ult as an escape pod in the right situation. It definitely will save your life. It will create more opportunity for you to follow up and punish them in general. For the final tips, as you might already know, but doesn't concern and optimize this a lot, that Gumi ult is the only move that you have full control over every other move in her kits. You remember how I say her ground auto sucks because you get stuck in this long animation shooting 2 fireballs, and how her ground skill has a very slow startup? What about her ult? Here's the difference thing, right? Let's say you're stuck in your auto, right? Auto animation 1 2, but then 1 and then 1 2. So, and then maybe you stuck in your skill startup. You see what I mean? You have full control over your ult in every situation. Even in the air, it's the same thing, right? Look at this. So jump. The skill didn't even go out yet. So whenever you feel like you are threatening and you want to use your ult, or whenever you feel like, oh, this is a good chance to ult, but I made a mistake, I go for my auto, and then you can still use your ult. You can cancel every other action with your ult, and that is the most powerful thing about Gumi ult. It's the only move you have full control over. This is where my tips come in. If you use your skill right before the ult, and you remember the skill has one gimmick, is that Gumi take a step forward, and you know what that means? That means you also will be one step further away after you finish your ult. So as you can see, it's not much, but you definitely have one step reach further with your ult when you use your skill first. I know it's not as good as other character gimmick where they can slide, like Master Cat slide ult, or like Octavia slide, Goldie slide, Jarvis slide, or the other characters that have like cool slide effect, right? Gumi doesn't have that, but one step is also a good thing to consider. I have to point this out because a lot of people have already asked me about this. They asked me like, why does Gumi ult has weird knockback direction in some situation? And to be honest with you, all right, I don't know why. So if you look at it right here, right, you would think that Gumi ult will always push the target forward and away from you, but that's not always the case. If you look at Wolfgang here, right, and you see my ult, it will always, and I mean always, drag Wolfgang backward from the direction I ult him. And this happens so many times. See, he always go backward, he never go forward. This happens so many times that I already know that he will go backward, and that's just one of many situations that I can think of right now. As you can see, it's always go backward. Another situation is I believe it was Timon, yes. So watch this, right? So Timon with one tag and only one tag go forward normally, like it should be. Now if you watch this, Timon 2 tags backward, and it will always go backward no matter what you do or from which angle. Other case, I remember there's also Kaiser, which will go backward if you hit him from a specific angle in the air. So the reason why I don't know why it happens is because I cannot figure out what the element that design which character go back or forward. And believe me when I say that, I together with others, Gumi man has been trying to figure this out a long time. We even report this, and it should be considered as a bug for Gumi ult, but it never got patched. I don't know why they didn't patch it, even though they have the time to patch Gumi auto that make them doesn't go through once anymore. You just have to deal with, like, I cannot list out every weird direction knockback situation and make you learn them. You just have to experience yourself to the point that you get used to all of them and you know which one does which. So in this part of the tutorial, I will teach you guys 5 different types of combo, technically 4 different types, and one final type of combo in a separate part after this one. So for the first type of combo we're gonna get into is very simple. It's the true combo. And if you have reached this state of playing Gumi, you will realize that Gumi does not have a lot of true combo. She is not meant to be a combo character. The most basic one, of course, that you use when you were still playing Gumi as a beginner is ground auto into ult. True combo means that during the combo, the opponent cannot escape in any way possible. So what we did just now is a true combo because they will be stuck in that combo for the whole time that we performing it. So that's one. Second true combo is from her hairstyle, of course, which is jump auto ult. You can do this really fast as well. Jump auto ult. Oh wait, I didn't have ult, but yeah, that's about it. Another true combo is use ground skill and then ult. That's the true combo as well, but it's only work if the opponent has at least 40% HP left. If it's anywhere under 40% HP, they will get knocked back too far away, as you can see, and your ult will not be able to hit them. So make sure that if you want to use the ground skill into ult combo, yeah, make sure you have their HP check. It needs to be at least 40%, or else they will get knocked out of the way and you cannot reach them with your ult after. Next combo, the next true combo is the jump skill ult. It's just similar to the jump auto ult, but instead you use your skill, which technically deal more damage because your air skill deal more damage than your air auto, and then you use your ult right away. Oh yeah, but keep in mind that it also have the same issue with the ground skill combo, because sometimes when the HP is very low, I mean really low, it will get knocked back out of your ult range, and I believe it's also under 40%, so make sure it's at least 40% HP left. This doesn't happen with the auto because the auto doesn't push the target back as much. One tips I have for the true combo, pay attention to this true combo, the air auto into ult, right? You have to understand that your air auto when used if the opponent is close, it hits very fast because the enemy is right in front of you, right? So when you're on the air and your opponent is also on the air, they are close to you, what do? Do not, and I say this because I see a lot of new player does it. So they always either just ult right away because they feel threatening, but that doesn't do anything. You know why? Because after the push, you both will still land at the same time. You cannot follow up any of your attacks. However, if you notice, you are close and you can use your air auto right away to flinch them like this, and after the flinch you will use your ult right away into a true combo like that. So what does this do is that it would not give them a chance to get away, because your air auto will always act as a guaranteed guidance for your ult. Once the air auto is hit and you press your ult right away, after that is a guaranteed lineup hit. You get more damage, you get more knockback, and maybe right, if the target already have 2 tags on them from your crowd auto, then you need 1 more tag to make it 3, and then you just use that mid-air. Do not wait for both of you to land, it will fail. Use it as soon as they are in your range. For the second types of combo, you can actually call this normal combo, follow-up combo, but the reason why I call it a rely combo is because it relies on how your opponent reacts. So make sure that you understand, from now on these are all not true combo, which means that based on the enemy action, they still have an option to get out of this combo, but regardless, they still usable in a certain situation, and they are actually practical in actual fight. So the first one you want to learn is jump, auto again, and then ult. So that will guarantee you 3 ult, not 3 ult, 3 stack for your ult. So again, jump, auto, and then 3 stack ult. So you want to do this with the super low auto like this, because the more closer you are to the ground, the faster you can launch your auto attack after you hit them with your super low air auto, right? And the reason why it's not a true combo is that after you hit them with your air auto like that, they have a split second to jump away, and you cannot stop that unless they don't jump away. Then you can follow up. Also, you can do crowd auto and then crowd auto again and then ult. The reason why you can do this is because if you're close to the opponent, it's the same thing. Your auto will hit very fast because you are close to the opponent. It doesn't take time to fly to them, and then so this will be another relying combo you can do. Make sure you want to use it as soon as you get 3 stack if possible. If not, 2 is okay. Never wait for the 4th stack, because if you get stuck in that anime and you are in 2v2 or even 3v3, another enemy will show up by the time you get the 4th stack and will maybe kill you before you can even ult. So make sure you always go for 3 stack maximum volley, okay? The 4th stack doesn't do you more damage, it just stuck you in place longer. Another rely combo is jump, auto, skill, and then ult. Yeah, this is the same thing with the knockback of the skill, right? You only want to do this when the target have at least 40% HP or more. If it's anywhere under that, you definitely don't want to use this. It will not hit because of the knockback. So that's pretty much all of the rely combo that you can perform with Gumis. Oh wait, I actually forgot the ground version of that. Yes, you can also do this as close range and above 40% HP. Yes, that worked too. It's actually work better than the air one because you do additional 1 more stack damage, but then you have to get real low, right? If I try it, let's say over here, it's not gonna work. The knockback is too far. Even with high HP, right? So keep that in mind. So far, every combo I have shown you until now, they are all for dealing more damage with follow-up attacks. However, these push combo aren't meant for that. Push combo are meant to push the enemy back, to create a more breathable situation for you to decide what you're gonna do next. And you are most likely to use this in 2v2 or like team battle, that you want to break the enemy formation, save your partner or save yourself, right? So push combo will always have a clear difference. You don't start with your auto attacks. Other combos you start with auto, you start with skill, but push combo you start with your ult. So it always go like start with ult and then auto, or like you can start with ult and then skill. Well, that does work if they have high HP. So push combo is just basically you rush in with your ult, and the reason why you need to use your ult first is because you want to get there as fast as possible, push and then combo them out. The other way you can do this is, let's say you know your ult not gonna reach them, but your ult will also close your distance to the target, and then you can do this combo. So even if your ult isn't in range, you close up and then you can follow up with your attacks to push them away. You also use push combo in situation to save yourself, like falling down onto the enemy like a red or wolfgang trying to kill you. Then you use your ult in a direction that you think will benefit you, yourself, your teammate. Maybe push them into your teammate, maybe push them away from the point, whatever it is. Use the push combo. So it's basically one push with your ult and then another attacks to make sure they got far away from you. The fourth types of combo is recover combo. There's two ways you can do recover combo. One is off the ledge and the other one is on the ground when you got hit down. So let's do off the ledge first. So as you can see, your edge recovery would be like this, right? It will give you some iframe and it will guarantee to hit an enemy if they are right in this section in front of you when you are grabbing ledge. So what you can do is remember that you have full control over your ult, right? So which means this also applies to your ledge recover, which means you can do this. It will also remove your end lag after you use the ledge recovery, so you won't be punished. Even if you don't hit your opponent with the ledge recovery, right? You can still ult out to make sure that they don't charge in and punish you at the ledge, just like this, right? The other ways are on the ground, which we use, I think, Kaiser for this. So let's say when I'm down like this, I can do recover like this. That's our ground recovery, right? So what I can do is I can do this into ult like that, because you have full control over the ult, which is very helpful. Or you can also do this. Hold on, I need to stay on the ground, not off the stage, right? So you roll and then you can cancel the roll anytime into your ult. And the reason why you want to cancel your roll, right? A lot of people think roll is safe because the roll gives you iframe from getting attacked. Yes, that's true, but it's also very easy to time. Like, I can time other people roll if they decide to roll forward me. I can time the exact moment their roll finish and that they are vulnerable to attack them. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want to be punished after your roll. So that's situation that you can consider cancel your roll into the ult, which also will make a recovery combo. If you do have super jump for Gumi and you want to try it out, make sure you watch this whole part in order to know how to use super jump effectively. So first thing first, you need to get used to the super jump distance. As you can see, it's pretty far compared to a normal jump with only 2 blocks. The super jump will take you as far as 4 or 5 blocks. Yes, so it's much more mobility added to your current movement for Gumi. But you do realize that you don't have a lot of control over your super jump, and that you can only use super jump when you're on the ground. You cannot use it as an aerial thing, right? And you can see that when you land, you do have somewhat of an end lag that people can punish you. So the first thing I want to teach you is how to use the break on super jump. By break I mean use anything that your character have in order to control super jump better. Different characters will have different break mechanic for a super jump. As for Gumi, right, is her air auto and air skill. Both can be used as a break. Let me show you what I meant. A lot of people, when they first use super jump, they usually make the mistake. They jump out of the ring, especially in small map like the 1v1 L maps. So that's when you know you need more control over your super jump. The way you do it is you use your aerial attacks, air skill and air auto to break your super jump like this. So you want, if I don't break, I will go out for sure, but if I know when to break, I can stop it at the right position that I want to. So breaking is not only for you to not fall off, but to stop at the exact point you want in the air and attack the opponent. So the difference here between the air auto break and air skill break is that the air auto break is easier to use, faster to use, and is usually to position yourself while jumping. Meanwhile, the air skill break is much more slower in terms of like the startup anime, but it has much more defensive. So it both break your character but also launch a counter defensive attack just like this. So let's say you super jump, someone trying to jump like maybe a red right here, jump and air skill you. You can use your air skill, your own air skill to stop the attack and break yourself at that position. It's easier to land your air skill break because it has a wider range, of course. If you want a break that will act instantly, you will need to use your air auto for it. There are 2 ways you can use your super jump. One is offensive and the other one is defensive. For offensive, you will use your super jump for aggressive attack like super jump air skill or super jump auto, or this is more like advanced situation, but if the opponent had 3 attacks on them, they usually run away from you, right? That's always the case. When they know they have 3 stack on them, they will always run away. And in this case, you can use super jump as a chase too to reach them from far away like this. So super jump out to catch them mid-air where they are trying to get away, which of course work, but again you need a lot of practice for that. One tips I have to say is that her super jump attacks, like for example super jump skill, is very good, however it's not the best. People can easily walk away from it if they know you're gonna super jump in. So there are a lot better super jump attacks. For example, the better super jump air skill, super fast, not even be able to sidewalk that because she can turn, or like for example mastercast super jump and then auto, the range is wide. You can walk away from that, but you have to do it right when he start jumping, right? So her super jump attack is not the best, and most of the time after you miss it, like super jump skill you miss, you will get punished right away. So the way to prevent this is, if you find yourself getting punished whenever you use super jump aggressively for skill, air skill, let's say a situation like Javert will keep waiting for your super jump, and once you super jump in, he would jump and air skill you back, so you get punished for that. You lose your super jump, you didn't get any damage. One tips you can do is that you can bait them. You can normal jump to bait them, and just by instant they will jump, and then you can try to find opening and punish them with your crown skill, crown auto before they can land. So that's just one tips you can do. Of course they know you're gonna use super jump at some point, but they cannot tell if that's a super jump or a normal jump at the first startup frame. And if they don't act at that moment, they will get hit by your super jump, so you can easily bait it. The other tips is that you don't initiate the super jump attack until your opponent have an opening. So for example, if they jump and before they land, you can try super jump and skill. That way they cannot get away because they are currently in the air, they're vulnerable, they cannot change the direction. So it's a guaranteed hit for your super jump attacks. Try to aim it at the direction they are running away. Even if you don't have ult, right, you can still chase them with super jump. So let's say my enemy is here and they try to run to this where, and I'm here. I can reach them if I super jump in, but I'm not gonna super jump to this where because he will not be there by the moment I land here. I know he's going for this direction, so what I do is I super jump this and I just go for my auto. Obviously if my opponent is here within my range, the auto will hit him. So that's how you predict and then chase the opponent down with your super jump. To use super jump defensively, you have two different ways to use it. One is, of course, use it to run away, like to get out of tough crowd control situation. Yes, you can also use your ult to dodge out, but if you have to choose between super jump and ult, consider super jump first unless you need a fast escape, because super jump still have that kind of slow startup time. So there might still be a chance you got caught, but your ult will be instantly escape. There might be a situation that you might need to use both. You might sacrifice both your super jump and ult like this, maybe run away from a faster character like Snow, who has not only fast movement speed but 2 fucking ridiculous dash. Now you do that and you get HP and you survive. So I would say that not a so bad trade, because eventually when you try to run back in like 2 touchdown mode, your super jump will recharge again and your ult will recharge in like 4-3 hits to the enemies. So that's how you use super jump defensively. But there's another way to it which is more advanced, and in order for you to learn this second defensive style of super jump, you have to go back to the break definition again. So we have the auto and the air skill used as break for super jump. Now we learn a new concept which I call super jump cancel, which is an extreme break using your either auto or air skill on super jump to surprise counter the enemy. Yes, defensive doesn't only mean you run away, but also counter the attack. So let's say you're standing right here and the opponent charging at you, maybe they are in the air and you can see that they are landing toward your position to attack you. And you can tell this by looking at the circle under their characters. You can see that, right? It should be a red circle instead of green. You don't need to look at their character to know when they are landing. You just need to look at the circle to know that they are going to your position, this way right here. Now you wait for them. You don't do this instantly because that will miss them. You wait for the right moment. This needs a lot of practice and timing, but when you put it off and you get the feeling of this, you will do it every time. So let's say they land right here, but I don't wait for them to land right here to start it. I have to use it right before they land, right? So now I do this. It's called a super jump cancel. It's a defensive way of using super jump to counter your opponent. After you do that, you can even follow up with other attacks like this, or even your skill into ult. And another way super jump cancel is of course using your air skill like this. Again, extreme break on super jump turn to super jump cancel. This one knock back the enemy further away. Sometimes it's not possible to follow up attacks because it's too far away, but it gives you a safe distance to work on your next attack. So you have two options of super jump cancel, and you can practice this with bots first and then go for real player. When they try to get you, do not look back at them. Wait for the exact right moment and then do that. Last but not least, we have the super jump combos. Now keep in mind that these are all not true combo, which means that the opponent can still escape this. But this is all practical combo you can use in real fight because the opponent doesn't usually run away after being knocked away, right? So I will show you a couple of variation and you can figure out the other variation to use the super jump combo any way you want, right? So one could be like this, 1-2 into skill, super jump this into ult, right? That's a super jump combo. Super jump help you extend it, your range, even if your skill knockback is very far, right? Another variation is super low, and then this into ult. That's another variation. You can also do things like, let's say you can start out with super low air skill into a super jump into auto into ult. That's also super jump combo. It might not be as powerful as the other one, but it works. Maybe something like skill first, this and then ult. See, all kind of different variation you can do with super jump. And in this scenario, you don't use super jump to initiate an attack, but to extend your previous combo or finishing attack to make sure you get the full damage on your opponent. I will show you the different build you can apply onto your Gumi depending on your gameplay, your playstyle, and your reference. I will go through each of these sections. First off is the ability, then we go through the enchantment, and then we go through the new system, the rune system. I will also explain why is this a good choice and for which mode or playstyle you want to apply them. Alright, let's go through the abilities first. So we have high spirit. If you have this ability on Gumi, it will decrease your skill cooldown by 1 second every time the enemy is hit with your basic attack or auto attacks. In my opinion, right, this is very good. This is also one of the two ability I'm currently running for my Gumi build, just because it balances out the time that I use between my auto and my skill, so that you don't have to wait too long for your skill to restart. I do recommend using this as your one of the two ability on your Gumi, only if you have very good accuracy with your basic attack. So you hit a lot of ground auto or you hit a lot of air auto. That way you will be able to maximize the potential of this ability. If not, then do not consider this, okay? So next ability we have is Nocturnal Hunt. Now Nocturnal Hunt give you 40% movement speed increase whenever your ultimate is available. Now this is one of, if not the strongest ability that Gumi have in my opinion, right? Because on top of the speed boost you already have for your basic attack every time you hit, you got another speed boost every time your ultimate is full. This mean this include, right, every time you restart your ultimate to full with 3 stack on your opponent. So you will get 2 speed boosts on Gumi conditionally, and this sudden change in speed will be your benefit, your great advantage to mess up the pace of the opponent. But it's also very hard to control. So I don't recommend this for the new player. But once you get used to the normal speed boost and you want more speed, and you are confident that you will be able to get used to and control this 40% speed boost to create more play that will benefit your playstyle, then go for it. This is also my second ability I use on my current build, so let me just lock it in. So currently I use these two abilities on my Gumi. The third ability we have is Essence Still. This one will give you 50% ultimate gauge every time you revive, and also increase your movement speed by this work even when you first enter the battle. I believe you get your ult start with 50% at the start of the battle, and then 50% speed boost for 3 seconds, and that's activate every time you revive. So this is more useful, in my opinion, more useful in modes that you can keep coming back from death, like do touchdown or maybe dominant. Maybe not deathmatch, because each team can only die like 8 times, or like in 1v1 you can only die 3 times. You will not be able to use this ability to its full potential. Compared to the other ability, this one doesn't do a lot of good. It's not the best. Okay, moving on to the fourth ability, we have Ace in the Hole. Now there's some controversy about this ability. So in the past, and this is in the past, not the current version of Gumi, right? In the past, it's only give you 50% more skill damage, and it's also does not stack anymore. So if you equip this ability, your skill hit a lot harder, 60% harder, but also you will not get stacked. The reason why it was still very usable before, it was because like when you equip it, your skill animation will start faster. So the startup time for your ground skill and air skill was a lot faster. Like they reduced the frame rate somehow with the ability, and they also said it that this is not intention, and so they patch it. So now the skill got 10% more damage. It used to be 50%, now it's 60, but it doesn't have that speed anymore, and the speed is the most important factor. Now it's just damage, but it also reduces your stack ability, so you cannot stack damage for your ult with it anymore, which is not very flexible in many situations. But I say if you still want to use it, go for it. If you feel like you hit a lot of skill with your Gumi, air skill or ground skill, you just feel like you hit a lot of them, and you don't necessarily use your ult as your finisher, but your skill most of the time, then go for this, because it suits your playstyle. Alright, now for the final ability that Gumi have, the rare ability. A lot of beginner they have a misconception. They think that the rare ability, because it's rare, because it has this golden color, and because it costs more money to upgrade, it has to be the best ability of all. Well, that's not true. That's totally not true. In Gumi case, it's actually the opposite. But I would say this, for beginner and new player, this ability is very good. This should be the first ability you try out. Even if you don't feel like you will use it later on, make sure you experience this ability before you get into any other build. So what this does is that it will give you a big benefit that you only need 1 stack on the opponent to recharge your ult. Only 1 stack and fully recharge your ult. Also heal you 150 HP per stack. So if you have 3 stack, it will be 450 HP when you fully hit your ult. But the best thing about this is the 1 stack. You only need 1 stack, so constantly you can use your ult more often, just like this. So we got ult ready, 1 stack and recharge. So 1 more stack and it's recharge again. This is super good for dominant rank because you will have your ult ready to push multiple opponent out with just one tag. And in this mode, right, you need speed, you need to push the opponent out fast. So this is super good, but it's also come with a huge drawback. Before I explain to you the drawback, I would say this skill go along with this super well because it gives you constant speed boost with the cost of only 1 stack per recharge. Like if you do this right and if you hit every ult, you will be the fastest motherfucker on the field. I'm not even joking. Like you can run around without being touched for as long as your ult is remain. So these two go together. And then we have High Spirit will go well with Ace because they both benefit your skill. And of course any other combination you feel like it work for you, then it will work. Nothing is not compatible, right? I just point out some of the more compatible one. Alright, so now for the drawbacks of butterfly effects. As you can see in the description, it say that ultimate gauge is double. What this means is that if you actually miss your ult, it will take double the normal time for your ult to recharge. So you actually wait a lot longer for your ult to come back. If you actually miss your ult, you will wait a lot longer than without the butterfly ability on, right? So that's a huge drawback. And another drawback is about how you play the game when you have the butterfly ability effect. So when you have the butterfly effect, your ult basically lock on to this mindset of you having to hit your opponent with the ult in order to keep your speed going, in order to keep your damage, your pressure going. So you limit your own option of using your ult. Now your ult cannot be used as a sacrifice for like an escape pod or for alternative like a push strategy. You always want to keep your ult because losing your ult means that you have to wait an eternity for it to be recharged back. So now you limit your own option by having butterfly, and the opponent can also read when you're going to use your ult more often because of this. For enhancement, I will only tell you guys the 3 best enhancement to put on your Gumi, right? These are aggression, relentless lightning, and super jump. If you have any 2 of these 3s, then put them on. But in my opinion, the best combo would either be aggression lightning or super jump lightning. Depends on how you play Gumi. If you use super jump really well and you feel like you need it for more flexibility, then go for super jump lightning. If you need more damage and feel like you don't need to jump around to get more damage, then do aggression lightning. Otherwise, if you don't have these 3, you can go with any of the other enhancement you have, because it's better to have something on than not have something on, right? The barrier, keep in mind, if you play 1v1 like me, the barrier does nothing because there's only one target unless it's Lauren and Vex. So keep in mind that this does nothing in 1v1. Okay, so that's pretty much for enhancement. And the ones that I use are super jump and relentless lightning. Last but not least is the new rune system. So as you can see, I haven't even unlocked all of the rune myself, but if you play the game, you will know that there's a button for you to try every rune ability in try mode, so you know what it does and you know what you want to go for. So I will go through a couple of runes that I think will do pretty well on Gumi, and then you can pick which one suit your playstyle the best. So we have 3 different type of runes, right? The attack, the defense, and then the core one. So we will start with the attack one. So there's 2 options I think will fit Gumi pretty well, which the first one is discipline. This one is super good because you get this very early. in the rune function, you unlock this very early, literally right from the start. So this one increase all attacks damage by 5%. This means your basic attacks, your skill or your ultimate, all of them 5% with no condition, right? The other good one that I think is usable for Gumi is actually the strength one. So this one push the opponent further away and treat their HP 10% lower, so you get more knockback on your skill, on your ultimate, even your normal attack. Everything will get more knockback. This is super good for dominant and ranked gameplay if you want more of that pressure to push the enemy out of the point, because your job in team mode is not actually dealing damage and getting kills. Your job is to push the enemy out and pressure them, right? So these are the two best ones that I think will go on Gumi. The reason why I will avoid these with like the further away you are or the closer you are, these condition is not applied to Gumi very well, because Gumi is a zoner, a conditional zoner. This means she will go out when she use her range and she will go in when she use her ult. So these conditions specifically will not benefit her either way. So make sure you also avoid using these, because they are very limited to certain situation and the boost is not worth it. Instead, get the one that will be flexible on your Gumi all the times. So discipline and strength. For defense, I'm going with durable when I unlock it, of course, because this will decrease 8% of all damage I receive, regardless of what that damage is. The reason why I think this is the best one is has no condition to it, and having this will make your Gumi a lot tankier, and I do believe that it's better than the vitality one, although this is also my second choice. If I don't have the durable one yet, I will go for the vitality one. So this in my defense slot, and attack slot currently is this. Also, I avoid all of the requirement for being close or far away from the target because of the same reason I mentioned earlier, right? For the core runes, so the current one I'm going for is the tactical superiority. What it does is that it switch between 20% attacks and 20% defense when you actually need it. So this is very good if you have a playstyle that very flexible, very mobility, doesn't get hit often, and when you do, you get this 20% damage reduction. When you don't, you get 20% damage boost. So the condition is super good, the boost is super good, and this is my best choice because this go for every game mode, is flexible for every situation. And then we do have two other options you can consider to see if it suits your gameplay or not. One is of course the trophy collector. This one is also the core ability you unlock for the marksman road. I mean the marksman path for the rune thingy. So increase damage by 5%. When you kill someone, it's increased 10% more, maximum 35%. The thing about this rune and why it's so broken at the moment is because once you kill 3 person, you get 35%, and that 35% stay on you even if you die. It does not reset. So this will be super good for, let's say, dominant, rank, even do touchdown, any game mode that you can kill a lot, and then the longer the match go on, you will have this boost all the time without any drawback or requirements. So 35% for free all the times. This is super good, but also super nasty if used on some other characters. Right, so your third choice would be Declare Pursuit. This one is from the Assassin path for the rune, and it basically marks an opponent, and when the opponent is marked, everything that you deal to them, every damage you deal to them is increased by 30%, and this will only go away when that target die. It's only one target at a time but that target will always get 30% more damage. Now this is the best choice for 1v1 modes because there's only one target, so you are guaranteed to always get that 30% damage boost on the opponent. This I think will be the meta for 1v1 or duo player once they unlock them, and they are especially nasty if used on assassin. The only reason I go for the tactical one is because I do play 2v2 oftenly, so I don't want to switch out my build. I want my build to be the most flexible one in every situation, so this is what I have. If you only start playing new player, right, you cannot unlock this rune because I know it takes a long time to do so. You might as well just go with the stealth bread, which you can unlock pretty early. We need to talk about Gumi movement because that is one of the most important factor making up for all of her drawbacks and weakness. So if you're a new player, you need to know some basic movement concept. Now you move around like this, and if you just go sideways to dodge different types of attacks, that's called a side step. Accordingly, if you jump sideways from your opponent, it's called a side jump. Now you can also do a back jump, but there's no back step. Backstep literally means you run away, but there's this thing that's called weaving. So this doesn't work as well if you are facing any character that is faster than you in terms of attacking animation, right? If you do this, you only will give yourself more opening. But if you're facing a slower character, which is Gumi herself, a lot of characters will do this to you, that they try to bait out your auto. Even better if they're able to bait out your skill, then you're vulnerable and they charge in to attack you. So weaving is just mostly for fast characters because they can go in and out to taunt your attacks and then punish you. For Gumi, you don't really do that often. You can side work, side jump. You usually jump backward when you attack if they are charging at you, and you can also do the circling. There's also my own footwork that I do want to give you as the tips. So what I usually do is that this mostly work if your opponent is in the air, like they are landing, they are falling. And what you want to do is you will do like one to the side, one to the other side, and then back to the other side. So what this does is that it limit the landing position of the opponent. I will explain you why, right? So when you does this, they are falling, they only have some option like go left, go right to land, pick their spot. If you start going like this, they will see that, oh, you're going to the right. Now that they won't land on the right because they know they're gonna get punished. But then you switch direction to the left, and now they are confused. They will not go to the left either. You have to realize that when you're in the air like this, there's just so much you can do. You can steer around just a little bit, right? So that's not a lot you can do. And then you go back to here, and basically that is when they are very close to the ground. They cannot really make a change anymore. So they are locked in right in the middle. So by doing this, you're making sure that your target is locked in the middle before you punish them, so that they won't steer left or right and go out of your attack range. One last thing about movement, right? I want to talk about her recovery when she's off state like this. So there's a lot of way you can come back if there's no edge guarding based on movement, right? So if you are far away, like let's say this, you can use your ult back. But there's also another case that use your ult even if you are lower than the state, like this. It's possible. As you can see, she still grab on. This is because, right, at the end of the ult, it will launch you up a little. Look at this. Yeah, you will go up a little. So even if you are a bit lower than the state, you still can use your ult to get back. So keep that in mind. Now also, if you use your ult to push someone out like this, keep in mind that you can still jump because you didn't jump at the start. So you can jump and you can recover. A lot of you think that if you go off state, it's not good for Gumi, but the truth is that Gumi is good when she push other off state and then edge guard, but she's also good with finishing opponent when they are off state, which means she push herself off state. So things like she hit the opponent out, they are mid-air, and then she just can just go up and out and then go back. As you can see, I was quite far away from the state, but I still get back. So the way you do this is after you ult, after you press ult and you know it hits, you just press the opposite direction right away, so you can steer your movement back to the state. So just like this, ult and then steer back and then press jump. When you press jump, the character will just grab on and jump up. Let me just warp this tutorial up with a little end note. If you decide to play Gumi, you will die a lot, and that's okay. You will go against a lot of unfair matchup, but that's okay. It will be unfun. All the things that I've been showing you in this video is still just the peak of the iceberg. I still have more tips, but I cannot fit it all in the video. I know it's been a long video, so if you have been watching the whole thing, I appreciate that a lot. And if you have any other question regarding how to improve your Gumi gameplay, make sure to let me know, comment it, reach out to me. If you also want more detailed advice or suggestion on your own Gumi gameplay, then you can join my Discord server with the link down in the description for you to know what your strength is, what you are lacking, and how to improve your Gumi in the shortest amount of time. And that's all for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys later.